Welcome, my friends. Welcome to another aimless adventure coming to you from Tucumcari, New Mexico, where I spent the night at the ever awesome Blue Swallow Motel. The owner's name is Rob, and his wife are wonderful. Stop on by and tell him Aimless Adventures sent you. I think it's time to RUNNOFT eastbound and down on the Mother Road for day number 4 of Aimless Across America 2021. Let's do it. All right, I did receive confirmation from Rob that that is the OG original clothesline in it, and they still use it. That's awesome. That's all right. As long as you ain't fell on the toilet with that one. All right, see y'all. All right, I've been charged with a chore, or I should say a responsibility, a cool one. I'm going to go to the Midpoint Cafe in Texas, which is the midpoint between Santa Monica and Chicago on the Mother Road. Rob, the owner of the Blue Swallow Motel, along with his wife, has asked me to deliver this pie glass to Brenda, the owner of the Midway Point Cafe. So that's what we're going to do. But between now and then, we're taking the OG Mother Road up through Glen, Rio. I don't entirely know what this place was called or who owned it, but I do know this. It's Americana. It's roadside goodness. And that's the type of thing that keeps me on the road. Speaking of that, I think it's time we get on down the road to the next one. I have no idea what we're going to find because I have no schedule and no time frame. Aimless adventures. I think I found some pretty important intel. October 7th, 1951. I'm going to go on a limb and say that's when this service station first opened. Now we know. Way from San Juan to Glen, Rio, we've now entered onto the pre-1950s Route 66. And a few miles up ahead, we're going to go across the bridge, where a lot of folks, when they're heading westbound, would stop and either water up their vehicles or wash their clothes, and some even took a dip. Just imagine the Okies coming across, all the hardships that they had to endure, and then you find that oasis. That must have felt real good. And you washing all that stank off. Brush your teeth, kids. Both of them. Excuse me, fellas. Is this the road to Itabena? Cows. I hate cows more than coppers. George Nelson! Not Babyface! There's some remnants of an old bridge. Some type of trestle, perhaps. If I didn't know better, I think someone slipped me some wild turkey, because I'm seeing wild turkeys cruising down the mother road. Welcome to Texas, fellas. Nothing weird about that. They dig the mother road too. Welcome to Glen Rio. Let's take a gander. Pun fully intended. At the old cafe here in Glen Rio, Texas. Now, a few times I had mentioned Glen Rio, Texas. I think it's Glen Rio, New Mexico. Or the whole town is called Glen Rio, I do believe. Whether you're in New Mexico or where I'm at right now, which is Texas. And then right over there, this is actually the mother road and I-40 at the same time. Just past that brand new pave, that's New Mexico. We're now back in New Mexico. Looks like another old service station here. One of the ways you can tell that this town was in fact prosperous at one time, there's a concrete median running right down Route 66. And it goes quite a ways, and it starts right at the New Mexico line and goes down there about a quarter of a mile. Off in the distance, you can see folks going to and fro. And if we pan just over here, that right there is the marker between New Mexico and Texas. At first glance, you see the cinder block front, some of the stonework, and you'd assume this is probably from the 50s. But no, there's some hidden history to this. This structure is actually adobe. And some of it's exposed right here. And you can see how they originally stacked it. They put the adobe mud, and then they came across with wood, and then another layer, and then crisscrossed it. And all these years later, it keeps the building cool, and it keeps the building secure. Well, I think our time in New Mexico is ending. As a matter of fact, it just did, right there. We're now in Texas. We're heading eastbound and down. I've got a date with some good food, and I heard the coconut pie is wonderful at the Midpoint Cafe on the Mother Road, halfway between California and Chicago on 66. I'm hungry. Heard the burgers are good too. You know I'm gonna get one. where the turkeys is. Welcome to Midpoint, Texas. 1,139 miles west, Los Angeles, California. 1,139 miles east, Chicago, Illinois. We're dead center on the Mother Road. Midpoint, Texas. We made it. If I take a step over here, I'm that much closer to Los Angeles. And over here, I'm a little bit closer to Chi-Town. I think I'm going to cut it right down the middle. Pretty cool. Adrian, Texas, here at the Midpoint Cafe. I heard they've got great pie. Rumor has it, a pretty good pulled pork sandwich. Thanks, Rob, from the Blue Swallow. Thank you, Brenda, from the Midpoint Cafe. Y'all have been great hosts, and you know how to cook. Hey, Pappy, do you know where I can get a good slice of pie around here? No, I'm not talking about pizza. You know, like pie, like Grandma made. What's that? Right next door. At the Midpoint Cafe? What'd you say? Ask for Brenda. She's slinging it up right? I'm going to take you at your word. I wouldn't think you'd steer me wrong since you ain't got hands.
It's a stylus too, that would be nice.
So I get that, and it's like, hey, no, not even.
My fat fingers, it's like it puts a different number down. Even if I did it to the right number, it's like it puts a different number down.
Check out that sweet Route 66 Shield guitar signed by the one and only Loretta Lynn. Well, Pappy didn't steer me wrong because Brenda is doing it up right. Barbecue pork. Pulled pork sandwich was on point. And oh yeah, the dirty pie, that's just the name of the pies. There's a variety of them. I would like to try all of them. That coconut cream pie slice she whipped up, that thing was like the size of a baby's head. It was big. Not as big as my fat head, but it was big. I highly recommend it. Aimless Adventures approves. The unique thing about the architecture to this building is this round part here is actually from an airplane control hangar. They built the building around that. And as the story goes, that's why they had to bend the door to make it fit. Looks like they still got some old-timey up in the window there with the gum turpentine and the turtle wax. And check out this relic. AMC Pacer. Look it up. They actually produced that, and people drove it in public. Got a roached out license plate right there too. Speaking of old-timey, check out that slice of Americana. I remember as a kid, my grandmother used to give me $5 to go downstairs because she lived above a bar. I'd put my tiny little hand up in the air, slip the bartender the $5. He'd give me her Schaefer beers and a bag, and I'd have a quarter left over where I walked over to a Coke machine just like this, put in the quarter, opened that little window, and pulled out my bottle. And don't worry about the top because you pop it right there. Used to sit on the curb. Grandma'd get sloshed, but I had my Coca-Cola. Good times. Drop your coin right in there. Open up the old window. And then as a kid, it was always a struggle to hold the door and pull that bottle out without raking the back of your hand off that door. Of course, this one shows 10 cent, which is definitely before my time. And then there's your little pop top right there. Boom. Good to go. Where's he hiding at? There he is. And that's how the magic was made. This place is in need of serious restoration. And there's a way that you can do that. I'll share that with you in just a minute. Crazy to think that somebody took an airplane control tower, put it here in the middle of the Texas desert along the Mother Road, and built a garage and a cafe around it. That's amazing. That's the Mother Road. Well, I think it's about time to wrap this one up. I can't guarantee I won't be punishing myself with some kind of food challenge. But then again, she's very happy to see you.
Next thing you know, the credit at the feed store, I'll grow that. They're both retired racing.